All right, welcome back to Finally Free. And again, my name is Khalid Abdul Qadir, and I got a special guest with me today.
I'm free? Am I free?
Finally free.
Nah, I've been free.
Okay.
I've been broke the shackles when I watched Roots in 1977.
Okay.
I watched Roots, and now, actually, that's funny. So I was hip to the miniseries before 1977 because it's one of the books my grandparents made me read back in the early, I think I was like 5 or 6 up there reading Roots, traumatized.
Right.
But it's one of those things. Alex Haley,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Shawn Edwards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hijacked your show because there's something about being free. I got excited.
No, I got you. And that's a good point. You brought up Roots.
Yeah,
it's like there were 2 pivotal weekends in my kids' lives.
Your kids, or when you were a kid?
My kids.
Oh, your kids. This generation.
Where one weekend we watched Roots.
Okay.
We watched
That's commendable.
all like 6 parts.
I thought it was 8.
Is it 8 parts?
Yeah.
8 parts, right?
7 or 8. I don't know. It was all week.
It's a lot of them.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for that. I'm glad everybody should. See, that's one of those things that should be mandatory in every black family. Like, sit your kids down and make them watch Roots.
Watch Roots.
But people don't remember. So back when it originally aired, that was like one of the first television shutdown moments. So everybody canceled church.
Yeah.
Everybody canceled choir rehearsal. Everybody canceled dance practice. If you was in the Boy Scouts, you didn't go. Didn't nobody go to no NBA games. Didn't nobody do nothing for like 7, 8 straight days.
Yeah.
Like Roots.
Roots was
Came
all
on TV. ABC, 2 hours a night. Everybody's like, damn. Traumatized. But you still know the names though. Kunta Kinte, Kizzy, Fiddler.
Yep. I spent the whole weekend with my kids watching Roots.
The original, not the next generation.
No, that next one. I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah. But the original Alex Haley joint with John Amos.
Yeah. My man from Reading Rainbow.
Yeah. LeVar Burton, Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah, that's right.
The other weekend, because I said it was 2 weekends.
O.J. Simpson.
Pivotal. Yeah.
O.J. was in Roots. No,
yeah, that's right.
He the nigga that caught Kunta in Africa.
Yeah.
He said, we need somebody that can run fast to catch this dude to put him on the boat.
Yeah, he was running next to him
with the afro.
Had a little
afro and
had a little
Africa.
braid on.
Yeah. They put a little thing in the back. The thing that Eddie Murphy cut off in Coming to America.
Right.
Had a little rat tail. Like an afro in Africa. O.J. caught him.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, O.J. was a sellout back then.
He was, oh, dang.
Yeah, he the one who caught Kunta and put him on the boat. Yeah.
Digging him deep.
Yeah. Remember that running scene, man?
Yeah.
He still had wheels.
No, that's what's up. But, speaking of like groundbreaking black cinema.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
No, that's
tell us what you're doing with the Hall of Fame and things like
man.
that.
Yeah, I was inspired by Roots.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're trying to build a shrine where the history of black cinema can live like on and on and on, like forever, ever, like Andre 3 Stacks. Like we're just trying to create a building where people can come and learn about the history of black film, because most people don't really understand how far back the history of black film goes. I mean, like, black people were making movies at the same time Hollywood was created, but you don't ever learn that. And one of the things we want to do is talk about that history. Another thing we want to do is celebrate the types of movies and television shows we watch, because when you talk about like the overall history of film, when they do these lists, like the American Film Institute, did a list of the 100 greatest American movies ever. Yeah. And I'm like watching that joint. I'm like, I ain't watched none of these movies growing up. Like, where's the movies I watched growing up? So I was inspired by that. So I'm like, like when you go to the barbershop and you go to the beauty shop and you talking about, like classics that, movies that we love, movies that we worship, it's not the same as that list that the American Film Institute created. Although I am now down with the American Film Institute, so I'm cool with them now because I'm a part of the AFI. It's just one of those full circle moments. But I was inspired by that because the types of movies and TV shows and the history of black film and the history of television that we cherish isn't talked about or celebrated the same way. If somebody tells you something over and over again, you're gonna believe it. Like if they be like, Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made, and they tell you that, like Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made. Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made. And you finally sit down and you watch Citizen Kane like I did. I'm like, nah.
I did too. And
This
I
is
had
not the
same,
best movie ever made.
I had the same feeling. I was like,
I appreciate you that you was like going underground 6 feet so you could prop the camera up and catch some crazy angles. And Orson Welles was a genius. Like he was a dope director. He was only 26 when he did the movie. But it ain't the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
It ain't the most entertaining movie I ever saw. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, like Casablanca is one of the greatest movies ever. No, it's not.
I agree.
Gone with the Wind's a classic. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say that because, there's a lot of things that it's just not considered in the world of cinema if it's outside a particular demographic.
Because a very narrow set and group of people dictate what are classics and what aren't classics. And that narrow group of people, they don't look like you. They don't look like me. They not our ages. They didn't grow up like us. They didn't live like us. Like, it's crazy who gets to dictate, what's a classic, who gets to write history. And so that's one of the main reasons we're building the Black Movie Hall of Fame, so we can have a say at this. We want to say, hey, look, Claudine's a classic. Because there's a great representation of Black love, that Black family struggle, and it goes against the misconceptions that people have of the welfare system. Black people out here working and struggling just to make ends meet, and you're dealing with a single mom. Single moms get a bad rap all the time, so we want this piece of cinema to represent that. And we are going to tell you that this is a great film. This is a classic. This is a masterpiece. Diane Carroll, James Earl Jones. In the story. And that's the whole function of the Black Movie Hall of Fame. So we're going to start from the very beginning because people don't realize, like, Black people made films back in the early 1900s. At the same time Hollywood was beginning, there were Black folk out here, producing and directing and writing film. And, man, God bless them, because it's hard to make a movie in 2025. I don't know how they was doing that back in, like, 1919. Like, can you, like, where did you even go to buy film? You couldn't even walk in a store.
Yeah, or get the camera.
Where'd you get the camera?
Or somebody who could operate it.
Where did you get the camera? Where did you get the lights? Where did you get the equipment to sync the sound? And then, where do you show it?
Yeah.
Because, look, Oscar Micheaux, who's arguably the grandfather of cinema, would produce these movies. This dude literally would take the reel, put it in his car, and drive from city to city, pull up to a movie theater, and hope they allowed him to show the movie. 9 times out of 10, they was like, hell no. We're not showing this nigga film up in here.
Right.
And that 1 out of 10 times when they said, yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll show it, but we're going to do it at midnight. So then they're going to give you a couple of weeks to show your movie only at midnight. You got to get back in your car in that town, go to the Black neighborhood and go from door to door to let people know you showing that movie at midnight.
Wow.
Like, that was the hustle. That's how you had to do it. Like, you literally had to, look, I just made this movie. Y'all should go check it out. I made this movie. Y'all should go check it out. If, some cities you were fortunate enough to have, a Black newspaper. And that's how a lot of this history was documented, because they didn't save the movie. They didn't save the movies. They didn't archive none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, a large percentage of Black film that was made back in the day gone, like, forever. Like, just gone. Like, I'm shocked at the number of Oscar Micheaux films that did survive, because most of that stuff didn't even survive. Just like the very first woman to direct a feature film was Tressie Souders, who lived in Kansas City. And that film, man, we don't even know what one scene looks like.
Wow.
Now, it's documented that she made the movie because it's in the Black paper. She put ads in the Black paper. Come see a woman's heir back in 1922. Like I said, I can't even imagine making a film in 1922. I can't imagine making a film in 2022.
I can't imagine making a film now.
That's what I'm saying. And so that's what we're doing. So it's going to be located in the Black Movie Hall of Fame is going to be located in the Boone Theater in the 18th Divine Historic Jazz District, which is fitting because we're going to be right next to the American Jazz Museum, and we're going to be next to the Negro Baseball Museum. Because what a lot of people don't realize is Kansas City has a rich Black history output. Like, everything, and this is what kills me about Kansas City. everything that Kansas City is known for nationally and internationally is black.
Yeah.
So everybody's like,
that's a good point.
Kansas City has the best barbecue in the world. Barbecue's black. I don't care about Oklahoma Joe's and Q39. No. The original barbecue, like back in the day, that's what black folks ate. Because that was and Ollie Gates will tell you. I've talked to Ollie Gates. That's why he got in the business, because barbecue was throwaway food.
Yeah, his logo, the man with the suit,
was to class it up.
He created that logo to make everybody feel comfortable eating barbecue.
To class it up.
Yeah.
He classed it up because in the beginning, barbecue was throwaway food. Black folks was eating barbecue. White folks wasn't fooling with no barbecue. They wasn't going down getting no ribs rolled up in yesterday's issue of the Call paper. That's what they did, you know. And then you could buy a marijuana joint on the side.
Oh man!
No, you seen the menus where it's like slab 5 cent, pork sandwich 2 cent, marijuana joint 1 cent. It's there, it's documented.
Right.
So it's all but barbecue. So barbecue's black. So then Kansas City's also known for jazz. Mm-hmm. Jazz is most definitely black. That's the plans for the Black Movie Hall of Fame. It's just going to be right there, man, in the middle of all that great history that represents Kansas City that the world knows about.
And so, if I understood right, there's also going to be a theater in there.
Yeah, we're going to show movies, man. That's going to be the biggest draw, man. We're going to be able to show movies, and hopefully we'll show some first run movies, which are current movies. Like if we had the theater built right now, we definitely would be showing Sinners, and then we're also going to have a lot of like old school movie nights, and then we're also going to open the door for future filmmakers.
Right.
That's going to be the cool part because a lot of filmmakers, especially in town, a lot of filmmakers all over. The biggest hurdle for them is where can people watch their work?
Yeah.
So we want to open up the doors and be like, look, this is a home where you can come show your film, invite people out. You know the challenges of that, finding some place to show your movie. Because that's why filmmakers make movies, so people can see them. So
that's it.
So we want to open the door so, filmmakers have somewhere where they can show their films, short films, feature films, whatever. So there'll be a movie theater in there. There'll be stage, so you can do concerts. The Black Movie Hall of Fame will be in there. There'll also be some offices. So we're thinking about maybe doing like a podcast studio, a recording studio, and some other elements that sort of support the arts. Because, so many people out here nowadays, they want to be content creators, but they don't really have a hub where they can go and create. So we want to provide a hub where you can go and create, because that's the new hot thing, man. Because everybody's out here doing it because you can do it from the palm of your hand. But we want to expand that, so if they want to elevate what they're doing, they have a place to come and do it.
Right. No, that's what's up.
Yeah, I wish I had that when I was coming up, man. I'd be I'd be on fire right now.
All right, so let me put you on the spot with a question.
Now do it.
In your opinion,
okay,
what is the greatest black film ever made?
Yeah, that is a loaded question, because there's so many great black films, and if I had to just choose one, I always tend to go with Do the Right Thing, because I think that's just a perfect film. What Spike did back in 1989 is incredible. It's an amazing story. It was timely then. Unfortunately, it's timely now, which is pretty sad. When you know the plot and the theme of that movie, it's like, man, that's still relevant in 2025. It's like it might be even more relevant in 2025. Right. So that's kind of crazy. But that's like my go-to. But you have different films depending on which stage you are in life. Yeah. Like when you're a kid, it's like, oh man, this film is amazing. And then when you're a teenager, you're like, oh my God, this film's amazing. And then when you're an adult, this film is amazing. But if I had to just pick one, I usually go with Do the Right Thing, just because the combination of the story, the combination of the directing is brilliant, because you've never really seen anything like that before. Then Ernest Dickerson's cinematography is just flames. It's like the things, the camera angles and the color and all that was just incredible. The casting, there are so many future stars. And there's so many future stars in that movie, where you talk about Samuel L. Jackson, who went on to become like a prolific actor. You talk about Martin Lawrence, all these different people, Giancarlo Esposito. You got all these people that became huge stars. Then you had living legends, like, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee. It's crazy. And then the music, because you got to remember, that was 1989. So that's technically before the explosion of hip hop, like on as mainstream. You know, like hip hop nowadays, it's an afterthought. It's like, yeah, that's the most banging genre there is. But for Spike Lee to be daring enough to ask Public Enemy to create a song and then play that entire song over the opening credits and then use that same song throughout the entire film, you know, if you listen to the lyrics of that song in 1989, you were like, whoa.
That was Fight the Power, wasn't it?
Yeah, Fight the Power. That was nuts, man. It's but that opening scene with, you know, Rosie Perez doing the dancing. I mean, it's an incredible film, and you know, you always get into debate. You know, should Mookie have thrown the trash can or not? Like, no, I mean that's the thing. People still debate that. Like, why did Mookie throw the trash can through the window? Like, should he have done it? Should he not have done it? You know,
the only sad Radio Raheem.
Radio Raheem, man. Oh my God, that. No, so that movie's got you can watch that movie. It still holds up. The only thing about that movie for me, it creates a point of sadness because it really opened my eyes to how like just effed up the Academy Awards are. Mm-hmm. Because like Spike didn't get nominated for Best Director. The movie didn't get nominated for Best Picture. And the one accolade that it got was Danny Aiello, who got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So out of all that entire cast and the work that Spike did with his pen and the work that Spike Lee did behind the camera and what Ernest Dickerson did, you know, with the cinematography and what Spike's dad did with the score, which, by the way, is amazing. If you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to that score. It's so rich. It's so perfect. The only person to get nominated is the white guy. Yeah. Like, are you for real right now?
Yeah, no.
The white guy. Like, we serious right now. The white guy.
Yeah, and that's how I felt
got the nomination for Do the Right Thing, the white guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think it's white people, but the white guy. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. That's that's how I felt about Malcolm X, too, though.
Oh, Malcolm X was a travesty. Like, Malcolm X, you know, we just celebrated. He would have been 100 a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. Malcolm X is starting to get his due again. And look, I'll be the first to admit I'm hard on Malcolm X. Like, I do not think Malcolm X is a perfect film. Mm-hmm. The thing that kills it for me is I wish Spike didn't cast himself in the film.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like Spike as Shorty. It took me out. No, it did. So I didn't really buy into the film, into the second act when Shorty's gone. Mm-hmm. Because every time I saw Spike, it's like, this ain't real. Yeah. Because I like stuff to like transport me to where I'm feeling like it's real. And I didn't feel it was real until Shorty was gone. But Denzel did kill it. And, you know, how Denzel didn't win an Oscar for Best Actor, that's probably going to be like a mystery until we're all dead. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the Academy did just come out with a new rule saying that anybody who votes have to watch the movie. So I guess they didn't watch the movie.
All the movies.
They watch all the movies.
Isn't that crazy? They didn't even watch it.
What's crazy is they said it out loud. If you're going to do something like that, like do a discreet memo. Yeah. Like, excuse me, members, we really recommend it. You probably should watch the movies before you vote. But for them to put it out in a press release is crazy. Yeah. Like, can you imagine if the NAACP Image Awards put out a release and said, okay, guys, look, Negroes, y'all got to watch this stuff before y'all vote. Yeah. They would have canceled that. Yeah. They would have been done.
It wouldn't have been taken seriously.
No, it'd have been done. Mm-hmm. It'd have been done. If they would have came out with a press release and said, look, we was just out here picking stuff. Yeah. We was picking favorites.
Which is great. And it's just, you know, people know people friends. Oh, they was taking turns. I had
heard, you know. Look, I've been in this industry a long time. I had heard that people gave their Academy ballot to like family and friends and coworkers and their pet dog and, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. I heard stories about like a lot of people don't really vote for the stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard, like it's not a secret. Yeah. Like, and I've heard stories how like, you know, people vote for friends and maybe they didn't like somebody. So I mean, so I can see how Denzel didn't win for Malcolm X. Yeah. Which is crazy to me.
It is crazy.
That's crazy. Like the Malcolm X snub is like, that may be crazier than the Spike Lee snub because no black person's ever won for Best Director. So, but the Malcolm X thing, that's crazy. And then y'all give it to him for Training Day. Yeah. All right.
Which I wasn't that impressed by Training Day.
No, not for no Oscar. It was entertaining, but it wasn't no Oscar. Like no one watched Training Day and walked out like, man, that movie should win some Oscars.
Yeah.
Nobody said that, not even in the hood. It was like, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
But then nobody was like, man, Denzel.
It was like they knew they had to give it to him. They had to like pay him back for skipping over it.
I know, but that's a woof. Man, that's a hard skip right there, boy. That's a hard skip.
Yeah.
From Malcolm to what's his name? Alonzo.
Yeah.
No. Man, that was a hard skip. But no, Do the Right Thing, man. That's my movie, man. Like do the right thing's number one, but there's some others.
I do agree with you that that's a loaded question. To be fair, it is.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, but I answered
times,
it. But I'm gonna answer it. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm going with Do the Right Thing to the end. I because you know what? Do the Right Thing moved me when I first saw it when I was a teenager. It moved me in my 20s. It moved me in my 30s. It's moving me now. So I'm sticking with. Do the right thing. But it's a lot of other dope films out there, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's some dope stuff.
And the
out
perspective
there.
on Do the Right Thing changes, like you said, as you get older.
It changes. I
watched it when I was a kid. I watched it when I was a teenager.
It's completely different. That's a complete, but it's still sadly relevant. Like, how is it still relevant? But it is. Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So as far as the Hall of Fame goes, how do you select films to be in the Hall of Fame?
So that's a great question. So what I did a long time ago, I don't know what happened. How's this story go? So it was around 2006, 2007. I remember. So I do film criticism. I'm on Fox 4 News, Kansas City, Fox affiliate. Been there since 2000. So we had a brother, Damon Bryant. Young, energetic black man, VP. There don't be many VPs at TV stations. So he was in charge of creative services, and part of their task was to reach out to the community. So, for some reason, Fox 4 News in Kansas City has a large black viewership. So we were trying to figure out a way how to do some community service for black folk.
Yeah.
So we were trying to come up with some ideas, and I kind of threw out this idea that we should do something in regards to black movies. I think the first idea was like to do a film series or something, but then I came up with this idea. I said, because I used to watch those AFI, American Film Institute specials that would come on CBS. So I said, man, we should mimic something like that and do something where we celebrate the 100 best black movies. And so then Damon was like, it ain't 100 best black movies. I was like, whoa, what do you mean? I was like, yes, they are. So, it's corporate. So, debating back and forth don't mean nothing in corporate America. Anybody who's worked in corporate America knows you got to go back and write it out.
Yeah.
And so I went, did all my research, was typing it out. So I did a list of the 100 best black movies. So this is back in the day when, I had a huge DVD collection.
Yeah.
So I went back. So I owned a lot of movies already. And then the ones I didn't have, I went to the library because you could just check stuff out on the cheap. So I went to downtown library here in Kansas City, and then for the rest, I just ordered online. I watched all these movies, and I just did a list, and I went back, printed it out, put it on Damon's desk. Like, here's 100 black movies. Let's do it. So we end up doing a documentary, 100 best black movies ever. They helped me license the clips and stuff like that. And so that's sort of like the framework way back in 2006 for the Black Movie Hall of Fame. So it started with that 100 best black movies list. And then, I knew a lot of other, well, it's not a lot. That's a loaded word. I knew a few other black people that did film criticism across the country. So I created a panel, and we would, often discuss, like, where should this movie rank? Where should that movie rank? So that was sort of like the starting point. But the thing is hard is, since 2006, there's been an explosion of black film. Because, it was thin back in 2006. Because since 2006, like, you've had a lot of stuff like 12 Years a Slave, Get Out, Fruitvale Station, The Butler, The Woman King. Like, it's been a treasure trove of, so, things sort of, they shifted. And so we kind of say the list is fluid, but the starting point is with that list of 100.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Do the Right Thing's number one.
Okay. But
Malcolm X is moving up the list. But Do the Right Thing is number one on the list.
Oh man, no, that's what's up.
Most critics, if you talk to a black film critic, most of them will say, number one is Do the Right Thing, or they'll say number one is Malcolm X, and surprisingly, a lot of black film critics say Moonlight should be number one.
Really?
Yeah, Moonlight's dope. No, Moonlight's in the Barry Jenkins is my man.
Moonlight is dope.
To be fair, Moonlight is not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a dope film, and you gotta digest it.
Yeah.
Like it ain't, you gotta watch it, and you might have to sit back for a minute or two.
Yeah.
It ain't one of them that's gonna be like it's very nuanced, but it's an amazing film. Barry Jenkins is like he's genius. But yeah, a lot of people, it's Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, Moonlight, and then especially women, a lot of women from Color Purple, which I get that. Yeah. Color Purple is amazing. It was directed by Steven Spielberg.
But his approach to directing that film was dope. He understood even back then. He understood what he needed to do.
He understood what he needed to do and not do. Yeah. Although he punked out and backed off the gay love angle. Yeah. Which is prevalent in the book.
Well, he probably thought he was gonna get beat up.
Well, you gotta remember LGBTQ wasn't really prominent in 1985.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair, you couldn't go there in 1985. So I get it. Yeah. But he got punished too because The Color Purple got 11 Oscar nominations and won a total of 0.
Yeah.
Like how? Like Whoopi Goldberg killed it. Like look, she's been silly since you saw the movie.
Everybody in that movie killed it. It's just crazy.
Oprah,
man.
Danny Glover. Margaret Avery.
Everybody
killed it. The score was dope. Quincy killed the score is like if you hear that score is right up there next to the Schindler's List score. As soon as you hear them first 2 notes, you start crying.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, they about to separate the sisters.
And it's something about the Color Purple that it hurts my soul. Man, to watch that movie.
Deep. It cuts.
Even today. It's
no,
really
you can't. I can't. Watch. It's painful, man. The book's tough, but that's why the book won a Pulitzer Prize. Like people forget that book won a Pulitzer Prize. Like the pedigree is high. Like that ain't no man. The book is no punk, man. It's in the way she constructed the book with the series of letters. Yeah, it's like the book is like it's a Pulitzer Prize winning book, but that movie is like, man, that movie is just there's something about that movie, man. It's like. That movie exists somewhere between us here on Earth and the line in between going into heaven. It's like it's this space because it's like, ooh. And that's our people because that's what went down.
Yeah.
Like that like that Mr. character.
Yeah.
The reason why the reason why he was hated so much because people know him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You can't hate nobody if you don't know him.
Yeah, everybody in that movie was like an archetype, a black archetype.
Everybody got a Mister in their family. Everybody got a Seeley in their family. Everybody got a Sophia.
I remember she spit in that water and stirred it around.
Oh man, it's so many. Like the color, like I said, I don't get these award shows because the Color Purple has like so many moments and people still quote it to. I think like 4 or 5 lines people still quote to this day. And it's also one of the rare movies like. There are not a lot of movies where everybody knows the character names. Yeah. Like if you say Seeley, Sophia, Mister, Color Purple. Like what other movie can you name the character?
Probably Demolition Man would probably be the only other.
Nah. New Jack City. New Jack City.
Yeah. If you say Nino Brown.
Everybody New Jack City. Nino Brown.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Mario Van Peebles, man. Come on, he learned from his daddy.
And so that would be mine.
New Jack City?
No.
Sweetback?
Sweetback. Melvin Van Peebles.
He don't get enough credit, man. That's what started the blaxploitation era. Because a lot of people try to get a credit to Shaft. Like Shaft came like 3 years later.
Yeah, it was down the line.
And people don't give Melvin Van Peebles enough credit because Melvin Van Peebles was a studio dude. Yeah. Because he made Watermelon Man for Sony, Columbia Pictures. And that movie made a lot of money. Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I think every black person should be allowed to wake up and be white for a week. Like, cause I tell people all the time, I am dead serious. I tell people all the time, if I was white, I'd be a billionaire right now. No, I would at least, maybe not a billionaire. I would at least, like, real talk, if I were white, I would right now be worth at least $100 million.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. Easy, if I were white. So I think every black person, we don't even want reparations anymore. We just want to wake up and be white for a week. And then you scoop as much as you can scoop in that week.
Yeah.
And then you go back to being black.
Yeah.
Like you just scoop it.
And Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song also launched the soundtrack.
Yes, it did.
With
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Earth, Wind, like people don't.
Yeah,
so
people don't
Earth, Wind, and Fire did that. And they did another soundtrack that's just like Where the World was. What is it? They got a couple like really fire soundtracks that no one talks about. But yeah, Melvin discovered Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, it was the lead singer was dating his secretary.
Yes.
And then
and then he hooked them up.
Yeah.
But Melvin was bad. He's like, man, because Sony was gonna give him a 3-picture deal. But it came with stipulations, and he's like, "Nah,
No,
man, I'm
back then."
Yeah, back then.
Yeah.
So he did he was the first. So you know what he did? He picked up the phone. He called Bill.
Oh,
Bill Cosby gave him some money.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Bill helped.
Bill Rich.
He helped finance Malcolm X.
Yeah. I think Oprah and I think Jordan gave some money.
Yeah. A bunch of people gave Spike money for Malcolm X, but one of the biggest chunks of money came from Bill Cosby. He helped Bill. That was the saddest thing about the downfall of Bill Cosby. It's like, yeah, he's into the pill thing, but man, he used to help a lot of black people.
Hey, his shows.
He helped a lot of black people. Like,
he did, and he was really the pioneer of black children's media.
Yes.
Yes. Even before Fat Albert, he had been doing stuff for years. Yeah.
But no, Bill had the Midas touch, man. Yeah. The Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
Hey, with that pen that make a noise when he draw with it. They killed his legacy. I wish he wouldn't have killed his legacy because he's contributed. Like you could put your own wing, own Bill Cosby wing in the Black Movie Hall of Fame because he did so much. I mean the Cosby Show. I mean, speaking of, how we were talking about how nobody did anything when Roots was on. Mm-hmm. Nobody did anything when the Cosby Show came on. Yeah.
I remember them days. They're like, no, it's Thursday night. It's almost 7:00.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, it'd be like, it's almost 8:00. Like, didn't nobody move. That was like the #1 show. And it wasn't just black people watching because you can't have the #1 show if just all black people watch.
Yeah.
This numerically, you can't do that.
And I got to give Cosby props for another reason, if I can, if it's culturally acceptable.
You can. It's us right here. It's us. We can. Yeah, we don't need no permission.
Yeah,
sure.
Bill Cosby was the first black person that I ever saw in a film where the characters he was portraying, they were just characters.
Yeah,
it didn't have nothing to do with oppression and like that. Because I remember watching Ghost Dad.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had Ghost Dad, and he had another film that he made where he was like I think he was like a scientist or something. You remember at the end he was riding like an ostrich out of the window.
Now Bill was killing it back then.
He was killing it, man.
Yeah, Bill was killing it back then. And he was boys with Sidney Poitier when they did all those Let's Do It Again, Uptown Saturday Night, and A Piece of the Action.
Yeah.
Like that was just like they was just regular dudes, man.
Yeah.
Like, but the movies was dope, and Sidney directed those.
Yeah.
But Bill helped set him up for that. Mm-hmm. That's why I said I wish he wouldn't have tainted his legacy because Bill did a lot of stuff behind the scenes that really helped elevate the landscape of black television and film. But
and it's not really talked about.
No,
when people talk about black filmmaking, very rarely, if ever, will you hear because you need a whole segment on Bill Cosby.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why we want to do the Black Hall of Fame, so we can talk about the entire history. Because, for people of a certain age, black filmmaking starts with Spike Lee.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a whole you missing 60, 70 years.
Yeah, it's a whole world.
Yeah, because they don't talk about Bill Cosby. They don't talk about Sidney Poitier. They don't talk about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy predated Spike Lee.
Eddie Murphy, man. Yeah, Eddie Murphy too.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was. Look, I'll tell you this, because this movie doesn't ever get enough credit. Like how I started the conversation off with, if they tell you something is great enough times, you believe it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a movie that needs to be talked about more and more. Boomerang. Because man, what? Because movies are what people don't understand. Movies are really, really powerful because people see movies all over the world. Because if you travel to other countries, most people's perception, like if you go to India or you go to South Africa or you go to Italy or wherever, their perception of us as black people is all based off of what they've seen.
Based on popular culture,
On popular culture, primarily the movies. Primarily the movies. They're looking at us through that lens.
Yeah.
And so what Eddie Murphy did with Boomerang was crazy.
Yeah, successful businessmen, black people.
Yeah, but so if you go back and you read the reviews that were written about Boomerang by white film critics when it first came out, a lot of them were saying, this movie isn't realistic.
There are no white people.
Because there ain't no white people in it, and they're running a business, and they got an office, and they're dressed well, and I'm like, oh my God,
wow,
like, are we for real right now? But those were the reviews, because you got to remember, there's never been that many black film critics, ever, like out here, defending our art, defending our filmmakers, defending our actors. But Eddie had that office popping, and they was running the show.
Yep.
And he had once again, it was one of those movies where you had legends.
Yeah.
You had Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, he brought the generations together there.
Grace Jones.
Yeah, very young Halle Berry.
And you had very young Look, shoot, the thing that's crazy about Boomerang, Halle Berry was cast as the ugly girl. No, she was the ugly girl. Robin Givens was the ingenue.
Yeah.
Like she was remember Halle Berry was the ugly duckling.
Yeah, the short hair.
Yeah,
she was the one who she was the non-typical one that he ended up with.
Exactly. That was the flip. That was the flip. Robin Givens was she was second bill on the movie. Because remember, Robin Givens was hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I mean she was big time. She came off that sitcom. She was dating Mike Tyson. She had did that movie A Rage in Harlem with Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Robin Givens was big time. But then that movie also had like a young Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
You had like
Martin played that. They chemistry together, their friendship.
Oh man,
Greer.
David Allen Greer, funny dude too.
Yeah,
David Allen Greer is a funny guy.
The three of them together, that
it was
chemistry
realistic. It was realistic.
It was amazing. Probably one of the best trios
ever
I've ever seen.
No. It felt real, and the office scenes felt real. It actually felt like they were running the company. I love that. The fashion was on point.
Yeah,
like the costume design was on point. And then you just had some incredible scenes. I mean, the Thanksgiving dinner scene is just like, that's.
And the characters were so deep. You know what I mean?
No, it worked. It was Boomerang. And then we ain't even talked about the magical element, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that I always like. And you mentioned that with Sweetback's Badass Song was like the invention of the soundtrack. That was a black movie thing.
Yeah.
That was you had Sweetback in the soundtrack. You had Superfly in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
You had Shaft in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Claudine in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Sparkle in the sound. Like if you go, man, you can go back and listen to the Claudine soundtrack with Gladys Knight and the Pips. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
damn. That's what inspired the folks who were making the James Bond movies.
Exactly.
To start inviting popular artists on.
That's who inspired the James Bond team.
Yeah.
It was black movies. Like that's what inspired Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Which is technically a black soundtrack. Disco's black music.
Yeah.
Disco is they tapped in because remember disco was already hot and then Saturday Night Fever tapped in on the trend.
They showed.
No, disco's black music.
Yeah.
It's actually black queer music.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. It's black queer music. That's what disco is. Just like hip hop's black music.
Yep.
Like all this stuff's black music, but they all tap into it late and then they water it down.
Right.
Although the Bee Gees kind of held their own.
Yeah, I gotta give my shout out to the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees have just to give the Bee Gees their flowers.
Give them their flowers.
The Bee Gees dope. The Bee Gees wrote hits in multiple genres. Like they wrote hits for Dolly Parton.
They did. They were talented. They get their flowers. They get their flowers.
Yeah.
But disco, for the record, disco black music. Disco black music. Come on now. Disco is black music, which is why I'm glad Donna Summers won an Oscar for that song for Thank God It's Friday.
Man, Donna Summers, man.
Yeah. Barry Gordy Barry don't get. That's another
Barry
guy.
Gordy.
Barry don't get no credit.
The Last Dragon. What's up?
Wait a minute. Let's wait a minute. You skipped ahead. The Last Dragon is a classic.
Yeah.
That's late in the day. Barry Gordy.
Yeah.
Look, Barry Gordy is that dude because he's still alive.
Yeah.
Look, and here's a funny question because I think I've met like everybody who's made I've met everybody. If you name a black person that's been in the movie, I've met them.
Yeah.
The only time I was like a schoolgirl was when I met Barry Gordy. I was like, this dude right here?
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't understand.
Just culture in general.
This dude's
dude
like, okay, I'm going to make
crazy.
a movie on the life of Billie Holiday, and Diana Ross is going to be Billie Holiday. She don't look nothing like her.
Yeah.
She don't sound nothing like her, but she going to be her.
Yeah.
And Paramount, y'all going to produce it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Done.
Like, oh my God. What are you for real? And Lady Sings the Blues is a great movie.
It really is.
Diana Ross is a great actress.
Diana
She got
Ross.
nominated for an Oscar.
Man, Diana, yeah.
She should have won.
Yeah.
She's great in that movie. Billy D. Williams.
Yep. Oh, Billy D.
Oh man,
that got him the Star Wars role, didn't it? Or was it?
It led up to it. It led
Yeah,
up to it. Now that was years later because Lady Sings the Blues is like 72.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but Billy killed it in Lady Sings the Blues.
That smooth, that smoothness he brought into that.
Oh man, there's a couple of sscenes. Whoever was doing that cinematography,
They
there's
knew
a
what they
couple.
was doing, yeah.
Oh man, there's a couple of shots in that movie where I'm like, man, y'all out here, y'all doing y'all. I can't even imagine being in a movie theater in the early 70s watching
Wow.
that. People had to be fainting.
That'd be incredible. Yeah.
Now, Billy was sexy.
Yeah.
Now, Billy was sexy, man.
Oh yeah. Well, my aunts used to talk about.
Now Billy sexy. Denzel ain't got nothing on Billy.
Nah,
Billy was sexy. And then Barry did he did Lady Sings the Blues, which incredible. Billie Holiday. Then he did the Bingo Long Traveling All Stars, which was technically about the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
Like
I
with
forgot
Richard
about that
Pryor
one.
and
Yeah.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
And, like, incredible. Billy D. Incredible cast, man. Then he did Mahogany, where he got Diana Ross as a supermodel.
Yeah.
Like Billy D again.
Yeah.
Like, man, Barry Gordy was like killing it. And then he had the audacity to flip the Wizard of Oz. Like the Wiz.
The Wiz was crazy too.
That movie used to scare me as a kid, though.
It was kind of
so
scary. It was scary.
That movie is scary.
I was always scared of the Tin Man in there. I never.
Nipsey Russell.
He didn't
Not
really-
Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Russell.
Yeah,
That's where Nipsey Hussle got the name from.
Yeah.
Nipsey Russell.
Yeah,
Now the Tin Man the lion was scary.
Yeah,
the lion was. No, I was confused. I was too young. I was like, "What's going on with the lion?"
He had his
He's
own little way. He had his own little way about it. Yeah,
he was bouncy. And then- but you had Mike J in the movie.
Yeah.
Like Barry didn't man, like Diana Ross was a little old to be Dorothy. But,
Yeah. She killed it though. You know what I'm saying?
killed
They
it,
gave her a
but-
little bob.
So
You know what I mean?
the scene, so the Wiz, like the cost, I don't know how these movies don't be winning awards, but the set design and costume design was amazing. But the one scene that still blows me away, because every time I look at it, it looks like it was a single take, is when they're in the sweatshop with the Wicked Witch, and they working and they dancing. And they rip off their clothes, and they all become the Alvin Ailey dancers.
Yeah.
And they swooping back and forth.
Yeah.
Dude, if you watch that is an amazing. I don't know how they shot that.
Yeah, the choreography, everything.
But it's a single take though. Cause I'm like, where's the cutaway? Where's the cutaway? Like, and how many times do they have to do this?
Yeah.
And how did nobody? Cause I'll be trying to look like, how did nobody mess up? How is everybody? Cause it's like, I don't know, easy 50, 60 dancers.
Yeah.
It's a lot, man. It's like the Wiz has got some. And then when they went to the Emerald City and Quincy's on the piano and they like, the color is green, the color is red. I'm like, how long did it take to shoot that? All those costume changes and choreography?
Yep.
That movie's nuts.
Painting horses and stuff. They was
All
doing
of that, yeah. That's Barry Gordy. Then he did The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
Last Dragon was amazing.
The Last Dragon was cold. I call The Last Dragon one of the early Black American folk tales.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Last Dragon's amazing.
It is.
Last Dragon should
film.
be celebrated. Last Dragon. That's all Motown. Man, Barry Gordy doesn't get any credit for that. That's all.
Yeah.
Those are all Motown movies. Last Dragon, because I think we were probably all at a certain age when Last Dragon hit, and then Last Dragon just for some reason, man, it's one of those Last Dragon and Purple Rain are two movies that just hit.
Yeah.
It's like my chest was made out of metal. they just like was magnets and just stuck.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and they like because Last Dragon and Purple Rain, like Purple Rain's another movie. I like movies where I know the backstory and I know that the person was like just maverick that fought to get it done. Like the backstory of Purple Rain is crazy because Prince wasn't even famous yet. And he walks into the Warner Brothers office like, I want to make a movie. They're like, what? He's like, I want to make a movie. He's like, but you haven't hardly sold any albums. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this movie.
Right.
And he writes the script in a spiral notebook.
Man.
And finds the people to shoot it. It's like, let's do this.
Crazy.
And it's like, okay, we're going to let you make this movie. Who's going to be in it? All my friends. But it's only one professional actor in the whole damn movie, Clarence Williams III. Everybody else are technically his friends.
Yeah.
Because it's all the revolution. It's all the time.
Yep.
And the women he was banging.
Yeah, and I thought I felt like what Barry Gordy did, well, you know, it's a chicken or egg kind of conversation, but the way Prince did Purple Rain, I feel like Barry Gordy kind of actually pulled from that, the way he did The Last Dragon, the way he had all the
That's true.
He like put his whole lineup of musicians in there. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I think
and
he did.
Prince was like the first one.
Prince did that. I can't believe they did it. And you know, Warner Brothers didn't believe in they didn't believe in the movie, so they were like, okay, you can do your movie, but you got to start now. And Prince was like, well, I was going to shoot it in Minneapolis. They like, we know, you can start now. And it was the dead of winter. Like, I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, they ain't, like, come on, these execs, man, y'all ain't, come on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can do your movie, but we only going to give you so much money and you got to do it right now.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis, 20 below zero.
Wow.
That's crazy, man. And then the story goes, after he did the movie, you know how like they test movies before they put them out. And so they were testing the movie, and the movie like scored super high, and the execs was like, this can't be right. They must have stacked the screening with their friends. And so they went out of their way. So story goes, they snuck a copy and did a additional test screening without Prince knowing about it because they thought he cheated. And I think they showed it like in Phoenix, and they might have showed it here in Kansas City. And it got even a higher score.
Wow.
Yeah. But ain't that, they didn't believe my man. They like, you cheated.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And it's like, how many times does black cinema have to demonstrate that it's marketable globally,
Man,
including with Sinners?
No, exactly. Earlier, But so it's funny you bring up Sinners because Purple Rain was released by Warner Brothers and Sinners is released by Warner Brothers. And so the story goes, Warner Brothers didn't know what they had with Sinners.
Yeah.
Like they were real. So remember, before Sinners came out, it was kind of like it was tepid. Even the marketing build was tepid. They didn't market that movie like a $300 million box office movie.
Yeah.
Now, you know, like Mission Impossible, you can't even turn your TV on. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing Tom Cruise.
Yeah, when you turn on,
I'm tired of seeing Tom Cruise.
When you open TikTok, it opens.
Yeah, exactly.
To Mission Impossible.
Exactly. You can't turn on your television. I'm tired of seeing Tom Cruise. You can't go on TikTok. You can't Google. Like it's all Mission. That wasn't like that with Sinners.
Right.
They were real tepid because they didn't know what they had.
Yeah.
Because they didn't. Yeah. I can tell when studios know what they have because they like, yeah, this is like, there was no pre-energy for Sinners.
Yeah.
There was no big marketing spin for Sinners. They didn't know what to expect. And that movie just caught fire because sometimes you got to let dopeness be dopeness. And that movie surprised me because that movie caught on, especially in the hood. And I knew it was game over when I went to the barbershop and they were in the barbershop talking about aspect ratios. I ain't never heard no hood dudes talk about no aspect. They're like, man, what format should I see Sinners in? I heard I need to see it on like IMAX. And another dude's like, no, you gotta see the 70 millimeter. Like, I'm like, oh man, this movie different.
Yeah.
They literally, people are talking about aspect ratio. Ain't nobody ever, no one has ever, and I mean ever, talked about no aspect ratio.
And now we're going to see it.
Now you're going to see it.
We're going to see it now. we're gonna see white filmmakers.
They already
start doing that.
Number one, you already see white filmmakers. They want his deal.
Yeah,
because the way he structured his deal was dope, genius. Yeah, get your money, get paid. You deserve it. And then you're gonna start seeing more movies with all these different releases, aspect ratios, different formats. They all gonna copycat.
Yeah,
but we gonna document that. Ryan Coogler did that first.
Yeah.
And Ryan Coogler had the hood talk about aspect ratios. Ryan Coogler, look, normally when you go to a barbershop, they talk about what movie they bootleg. You actually have people in the barbershop talking about they trying to go to the movie theater to pay to see it. That's another first.
Yeah,
that's
they don't want to bootleg
central. They don't want to bootleg.
Yeah, they want to see it.
They want to see it
in a different aspect ratio to get a different experience.
Exactly,
and it is.
It's one of the few like Sinners is one of the few movies I've ever seen that there's a true experience, because what Ryan did with that film is genius, because it's technically not a horror movie.
No, it's not.
It's not a horror movie at all. Yeah. It's actually one of the first movies ever to deal with the realism of Jim Crow.
Yeah, I consider it to be a fable.
It is. It's a fable. It's not a horror movie, but it does have elements of horror. But it's a fable that's dealing with how blacks dealt with Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And it's the first movie that I've ever seen, because I even did some research, that really gives the genre of blues the prestige and the honor that it deserves. No one's delved that deep into sort of like the origins of blues and how blues impacted not only all these different genres, but just culture as a whole, and talk about, how it talks about the power of the music and how that leans into Christianity, how that leans into the workforce, how that leans into the prison chain gang, how that leads into how we make love, how that leans into how we cook, how we drink, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we think. Like, that movie is incredible. How it just dealt with all those things.
It touched the culture.
Man, it
very
touched.
Deep,
you know
what I mean?
No, it touched the culture deeply, because like you have people on social media like, I saw it 5 times, I saw it 3 times. I'm like, bragging about, like, what's the last movie that people bragged about seeing? Even Black Panther, as big of a cultural experience that was, it was a true phenomenon. You really didn't have people that grasped onto it. Like, it's like, people treat Sinners like the 10 Commandments.
Sinners makes Black Panther feel superficial.
Yes.
And I believe, and I wrote a review of Sinners as well, and I wrote in there, I had a hypothesis that I believed that what he did with Sinners was in response to his experience with Marvel doing Black Panther. And then he kind of talked about it in an interview on Democracy Now! So I was like, wow, I wrote this review before I saw that.
I could see I could see that, because I can imagine that and he did 2 movies, under the Marvel umbrella. I could see how you could be handcuffed as a filmmaker, as a creative. And because, when you do a Marvel movie, there's certain things you have to do, and there's certain things you cannot do.
Yeah.
And you don't have full autonomy to explore whatever creatively is in your head that you want to express, because it's Marvel.
Yeah.
And how many meetings did he have to sit in on, because it is Marvel, where Sinners is completely his.
Yep.
And he can just
and that's
he's
what he
free.
said.
He's
said
free. That's why this show is fitting. He's free.
Yeah.
He's free to create.
Finally free, baby.
Yeah, he's finally free. But look, that's dangerous, because he's a bad dude. If this is what we get from him being finally free, I'm just going to sit back. I can't wait for the next 5, 10, 15 years. That's crazy. Like, if Sinners is the culmination of his freedom, man, he's a bad dude. That's a bad film. Like, I see a lot of movies. That Sinners just, and we ain't even talked about other elements like the casting, the acting, the Michael B. Jordan, Delroy
Lindo, man.
But Delroy Lindo's so tragically underrated. He's so underrated. Like, he should have won an Oscar for The Five Bloods.
Wow.
He's so underrated, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he was great in Malcolm X.
Man, Delroy Lindo is great at
everything. Like, he batting 1,000. Like, what other actors batting 1,000? Like, what? What other actor, like legitimately, what other actors batting? Even Denzel done phoned it in a couple times.
Yeah.
No, Denzel has phoned it in a couple of times.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo don't never phone it in. Samuel L. Jackson's phoned it in.
Yeah.
Like, who else is great? Cicely Tyson may be the equal in terms of like someone who never swung and missed.
Mm-hmm.
But Delroy, man, he don't swing and miss.
Man.
He be committed. He's like Delroy don't swing and miss at all, man. Delroy is always.
Yeah.
Man, he was great in Soul of the Game, and that movie wasn't even any good. Even Bob Kendrick, who's the president of Negro Baseball League's museum, was like, yeah, we embraced the movie, but it could have been better. But Delroy Lindo, he was amazing. Delroy is he's the man.
Yeah.
Like he's that dude is. But what he did in Sinners is just like that character, man. It's just that's one incredible. Of those soul crushing
it's just
performances.
It's just an example of how there are these black actors out there who are, A+ tier, platinum tier performers, man. But they're just not getting the opportunity.
They don't get the opportunity,
and they're not being utilized. The scripts aren't
written for them. Yeah,
yep. And they're pennies on the dollar. What they're paying these individuals versus somebody else, because they can only go off of their pedigree. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just tragic.
Yeah, we need more. We need more scripts for black women, though. I'm telling you what, though. Like Regina Hall is so underrated because she could be serious, she could be funny. Like,
I agree.
And she's never had the right project, man.
Yep.
It's just never. She's never had a chance to have her name, like at the top of the poster, be number one on that call sheet, man. That's sad, man. Like, how Regina Hall is like so gifted, like. Another young and up and coming actress, Teyana Taylor.
Yes,
man, she can be something, man. She can be something special. Mm-hmm. She's got that. She's got that skill set. It's something about her. I'm like, man, she's got that it factor, man. She deserves a shot, man. I like what she's doing, but there's a lot of young black actresses that deserve a shot, but they don't get the script.
Right.
Yeah, we got to wrap. We can go all night.
Right.
But this has been great, man. Maybe some point down the road, as we get closer to the completion of the Black Movie Hall of Fame, come back.
Oh,
maybe
absolutely.
Do like a virtual tour.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the exhibits that are actually going in.
Yep.
And just go down that pathway, because our big gala is going to be Saturday, February 28th, 2026. So we want to do some special stuff. And like I said, we talked about a lot of titles, a lot of people that deserve their place in the Hall of Fame. So definitely want to come back and do that. And then hopefully that'll be around the time where, Sinners should be receiving some Oscar nominations. it need about 10, easy 10, like Best Picture, Best Director, Cinematography, Costume Design,
Original Script,
Art Direction, Editing, easy 10. Supporting actor, lead actor.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Mike B.
Yeah.
2 for the price of 1. Some people can't do one role.
Right.
They gave an Oscar to Emma Stone for La La Land. La La Land's a musical. She couldn't sing or dance. And she won.
Wow.
She can't sing. And she couldn't dance. You watched the movie?
Yeah,
I'm looking at the screen.
She got all choreography, got somebody else singing her music.
She got somebody else singing, and Ryan Gosling was killing her.
Gosling, was putting in work.
Gosling should have got the win.
Well, he used to be on.
I know.
Yeah, he used to do it when he was a kid.
He did all that. He killed. What was it? Mickey Mouse? Was he the Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah. No, Ryan, one of them. He's been doing that since he's 3.
Right.
But anyway, let's do it again, though.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming by.
Man, it's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
Hella dope.
Again, dope. This is finally free.
Free, baby. It felt good to be free, man. Ryan Coogler's free.
Like, subscribe, hit the alert bells. We'll see you next time.
I free my mind. I free my time.